hello there. We've got another video for reading, and I'm basically going to keep going with this concept of learning rhythms and rhythmic figures as groupings. So what we've talked about in the last couple of videos are learning rhythms as words. Soon those words become sentences, and I'm going to do something that's probably really advanced for some of you, but I think just the concept of what I'm talking about will be able to help you no matter what level you're at. All right, I'm going to throw a rhythm up on the screen right now, and I want you to take a look at it. And for some of you, you're going to look at that rhythm and go, what? How do I even play that? What? So now I'm going to describe how one would work that out. So let's say that was a rhythmic figure, say a strumming pattern I wanted to play on the guitar, or a horn pattern, or maybe a cool bass line. That was a rhythm that I would play for every measure. So the way we want to, once we kind of figure out our words, we want to make our words, get several words, and start to create sentences. That's where we're going. So you want to internalize the sentence. So just like we internalize the word, where we sounded out each rhythm to create a word, we now want to see what each of these words sound like so we can internalize an entire measure. And I'm going to do it with kind of an advanced example, but I think that's kind of cool. So let me explain one way this works, and I've made it an incredibly high-tech visual aid. So we're going to change a little exposure on this. So good notation, when you read good notation, basically sheet music, you'll see an imaginary line between beats 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if it's really good reading, good notation, you'll see separation between each of the beats. So you see, I just threw this random rhythm up here. So I could see there's beat 1, the rhythm of beat 2, the rhythm of beat 3, and the rhythm of beat 4. Let's let the exposure on my camera now know what I'm doing. Okay, so that's how we're going to turn words into sentences. We're going to learn each individual beat as an individual word, and then we're going to put those 4 words together. Cool? All right, let's throw up that first rhythm that may have scared some of you. So there's a rhythm. Now I'm going to look at the first beat, and I can see the separation of my beats. So I'm going to look at that, and I've got the first beat, which is what? It's 2 eighth notes. Oh, come on. You know how to play 2 eighth notes? 1 and. Well, there you go. That's what the first word sounds like. You got it. Let's look at the second word. Now, the second word has an eighth note rest. So we're not going to play anything on beat 1. Let's think of this as 1 beat. So we're not going to play anything on beat 1. And then we're only going to play coming up on the and. And so I'm playing and So that little rhythm is 1 and 1 and 1 and. Now, if you've been working on individual words, eighth notes and 16th note words, that's going to come pretty quick to you. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to sound it out. Let's see. There's the eighth rest. 1 and cool. Now I'm going to substitute the number 2 because it's our second beat. So now I'm going to think of that as 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and cool. Now, instead of trying to learn the rest of the measure, I'm just going to try to put my 2 words together. So remember, my first word was 1 and 1 and. So now I got to adjust for the tempo. I got to feel it. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So now I'm going to clap this. 1 and 2 and. There's my first 2 beats. 1 and 2 and. So remember, I learned 1 and then I learned 2 and. And I clapped it a little bit slower, but now I'm just adjusting the speed. So again, 1 and. So once I got it, I don't want to move on still. I want to memorize what that rhythm is. There it is. Ba, 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 ba. That I felt was beat 2 that I was resting. Cool. Let's loop it. 1 and. Now, if you're having trouble reading it, but you can clap along with me, that's half of it. That's half of it. You've got it. You now know what those 2 words sound like, how to pronounce those 2 words. Does that make sense? Now, it may take you longer than I'm demonstrating to figure out how to count some of these out, but it's the same process.